Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Rune Words. So today we're going to be looking at the rune word Myth. Myth is a very interesting rune word because it's a low-level +2 Barbarian armor. And I think overall it doesn't really have a lot of amazing things about it, but just simply having a +2 Barbarian armor is certainly nice, especially if you happen to be a Barbarian. So let's go over this particular armor, and we're going to talk about it. Now, this particular armor does not have any variables, so we're not going to be going over to the website today, but we will talk about some of the effects. So right off the bat here, we have a 3% chance to cast level 1 Howl when struck. And level 1 Howl is basically making everything run away from you. So if you are in the thick of it, if you are getting beat, Howl is going to go off and everything is going to run away. Now, it's only level 1 Howl, though, and level 1 Howl is not really going to make them run very far or for very long. It's only going to be a temporary defensive mechanic. We also have a 10% chance to cast level 1 Taunt on striking, and Taunt specifically is the ability to basically reduce the amount of defense and the amount of damage that a monster can do. So if you are out in the thick of it, if you are out in the wild and you are beating the crap out of a monster, and you find a specific monster that has the HP for it, I suppose would be the term, you will eventually taunt them. And when they are taunted, like I said, their damage is decreased and their defense is decreased. So let me just double check on that just to be 100% sure. Yes. So level 1 taunt is going to give you a negative 5% damage off of their damage that they're dealing to you, and it is going to reduce their attack rating, by 5%. So not defense, their attack rating. So they're going to hit you less often, and they're going to deal less damage when they hit you, which is very interesting. Now, the other effects on this particular weapon armor are very interesting. You have the +2 to Barbarian skill levels, which of course is going to help out Barbarians a lot. Keep in mind that Barbarians have a lot of passives. They've got the weapon mastery, they've got the iron skin, they've got the natural resistance, they've got the faster run speed, the increased stamina, they've got the shouts and all these other things. So +2 to skills can really go a long way on a Barbarian, especially early game at level 25, and this is going to help you out a ton on your Barbarian until you can get your hands on something better much later on. And let's see if we can get the Howl to proc here. Come on, Howl. Of course, it is a rather low chance with a 3% chance. You would think that they would make it a lot better with a 3% chance, but unfortunately, level 1 Howl is all you're going to get with a 3% chance. Seems like it's not really going to proc very often. And these guys are hitting me just about every single time. Let me take off some of my armor and weapons and stuff so that they can hit me a little bit more often. As you can see, a 3% chance is not the greatest percent chance to proc. Even in the middle of all those monsters hitting me all at once, I still didn't proc it even once. Alright. So as you can see, not something that's going to proc very often. So if you're worried about this particular armor, perhaps because you don't want the Howl to proc, keep in mind that the Howl is probably not going to proc very often at all. So I wouldn't worry about it. When it does proc, it's probably not even going to be that big of a deal because Howl does not work on elite monsters. It does not work on bosses. It does not work on champions. So even when it does proc, the only monsters it's going to make run away are the regular trash mobs. And since it is only level 1, it's not even going to make them run away for very long or for very far. So that's going to be a very brief effect. We also have 30 defense versus Mishal, which is meh. We've got Replenish Life plus 10, which is actually pretty decent. Having Replenish Life at level 25 in the form of plus 10 is actually really nice. We've got Attacker takes damage of 14, which might actually be helpful at level 25, but once you get to a higher level, it's not going to do anything. And then a negative 15% requirements on there as well because of the Hell Rune. So keep that in mind when you are making this armor, that you can make this armor in a much higher strength requirement piece. Like, for instance, maybe an ancient armor with 100 strength requirement, or perhaps a maybe even something of a nightmare variant, because there are some level 25 nightmare armors that have really nice defense and have high strength requirements, which could come in handy for the bonus to defense, because this armor does not have any bonus to defense. So keep that in mind. You could also theoretically just keep this in your stash and use it as a buff armor, just for the +2 to skills. A lot of barbarians don't have access to a plus to skill armor at this particular level, so getting a very easy to make HelAmnNef +2 to skill barbarian armor can definitely come in handy to increase your shouts. It can come in handy to increase your battle orders, your battle commands, etc., to make your health and your defense much higher. And you can tag that along with some war cries, weapons, or perhaps a plus to skill helmet. And when you use your war cries, they'll be much higher than they are normally. Anyway, this is a very interesting armor, but there's really not a lot to say about it other than it's nice for level 25. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching these videos, and keep watching.